Hello everyone! Welcome to another stream doing our research checks for the Lost Omens character guide. I'm Jordan. In case you didn't know who I am, I'm joined by Rachel and Heather.
Hello.
Hey, he knows our names.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I hope so by now.
I mean, I hope so. Y'all were in the wedding that we had last week, so I better know your names.
Indeed.
Yes, to get that out of the way, this is the first piece of content we're producing after Jess and I got married, so I'm still excited.
Wild.
We've been walking around the house saying husband and wife to each other for a while. It's apparently just a thing you do, you know, like just excited about the moment. And
it took me a while. When Rick and I got married, I would still be like, "Oh yeah, my boyfriend." And I'm like, "Wait, it's not my boyfriend anymore."
See, we're practicing. We're practicing to not make that mess up. Anyway, down to business. Lost Omens character guide. Which overall, if you guys don't know what all is in this book has beautiful art. First off, it goes through all of the basically ethnicities of all the different ancestries that you can have, and breaks it down into more regional variants, variants based on climate, things like that. And then goes into three new playable races: the Leshies,
Ancestries,
or Ancestries. Dang it, Ancestries. I'm still gonna mess that up. We gotta stop playing first edition so I can do it. Yep. But three new ancestries. You've got lizard folk, Leshy, and hobgoblins. There it is.
I mean, they mention a few other ones, but it seems more like a teaser.
Oh no, it's totally a tease, and I didn't appreciate it.
I did not approve of that. Yeah.
I didn't appreciate it
at
all.
But we'll talk about that when we get to that part of the book.
Yeah, we're jumping ahead here.
Goodness. But the second half of the book goes through some of the major organizations throughout the Golarion setting, or at least the Inner Sea setting. So we'll get into those as we go. And they, of course, also had a list of ones that they didn't actually go through in any kind of detail, but they just teased. So you do get some content for those, but it's more of a, oh, by the way, these exist. So also not approved.
I guess they have to, leave the breadcrumbs so you keep following and you keep buying the books. Keep wanting more.
I mean, to be fair, they could write a 1,000-page book and I'd buy it in a heartbeat. Be like $200 sold, easy sell.
It depends on what it's over. If I'm going to shell out.
Everything, Heather, everything. Like, just imagine it's one book that has everything.
That would be way more than 1,000 pages. Anyway.
Oh no, easily yes.
Yes, but I suppose we'll start with, at the beginning with chapter 1.
What is an RPG? No, wrong book.
No, that's wrong book.
Wrong book. That is the rule book.
Yes. So that brings us to the Ancestries. Kind of overall vibes. What do y'all think?
Well, these are the ancestries that were detailed in the core rulebook, and they've expanded them to give you more options. I actually really like the pictures and the sidebars of the different ethnicities that you get. Like, this is what, someone from Nightall looks like, and this is what somebody, the different races and everything, or the different heritages. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting that they even go so far as breaking down even further if necessary. So like they have like the elves of the Mwangi are in three main tribes or groups or something, and so they break down these are the three groups and kind of a little bit about them. I thought that was like just so many great details that actually makes me want to play somebody from those areas a lot more.
Yeah, I know that there is some divide because there are certain feats or ancestries or whatnot that you can't get unless you pick something from that specific place. I know that it's been kind of I want to be able to do whatever I want, and that's kind of cool, but it pulls me out of the realism just a little bit, because it's kind of like in the real world that us southern people have certain things that people up north don't have, like we use y'all, and that's kind of our thing, and it's expanding. Don't get me wrong. But
I think I like it a lot. Like, I think it's really cool that you can have something that's specific to where your character's from, and it gives that character more flavor and more to work with your background and things like that. And if there's a bunch of them you like, well, then you get to play, ideas for a bunch of different characters over the course of your adventures in Pathfinder.
Yeah, I will say, having read through this book over the last couple of days and really diving into it, I just started keeping a list of like, ooh, this is a character I want to do.
Oh yeah.
Character I want to do. Ah man, this is what I really want to do. So I have a bunch of those in a little journal now.
Well, in the human section, they have the Irasani Ice Witch, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, because the Winter
Mhm.
Witch was one of my favorite archetypes from first edition. So I'm like,
Yeah, so
they're
you can be
kind
a
of building up
Jadwiga
into that.
and take that
Yeah.
and have some ice powers. Yeah.
See the I think it's the Arataki jumped out at me. Had
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
the
yeah.
Inuit feel, and I was like, I really liked one of the lines that they said that they live with nature rather than against it, and I really like that, and I imagine that it horrifies Abadarians, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, I am all for that.
Yeah.
And of course, I did like the Gloomseer and the Darkseer ones from Night Owl, but not just because they're from Night Owl, but you get low light vision and dark vision, and
As a human, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, which is really handy. And I was like, oh, this just gives me more incentive to play somebody from Night Owl.
I will say that throughout this, I made little notes of haha Heather, or that screams Heather, or I'd be like, haha Jessica, and I think I even had a few Jordan in here. So yeah, that made me happy, just because I'm like, yeah, these are the people that are gonna pick these feats when we get around to this.
Definitely. I thought it was really, I think, really well done. You can feel where the kind of inspirations for the real world inspirations for a lot of these heritages come from. But one of the things I really appreciated is breaking down Tien and saying like Tien is basically kind of the equivalent of saying like Asian, right? So they break it down as like, Tien Dan, Tien Otang, Tien Huan, like breaking all of them down into their different regions and what are the cultural differences between them. I thought was really cool for a book that, typically we talk about the inner sea when we talk about the world of Golarion, and I thought it was really nice to see that we've kind of branched out into, let's talk about all of Golarion, even the people who are it's very uncommon to see, in the inner sea itself.
I was kind of surprised just overall in the book that the heritage lists were so short, but the ancestry feats were pretty long. So I think that kind of made up for that throughout the book, because I think there was only, if I'm remembering correctly, just in the human section that we're on, there was only like 2 heritages.
Yeah, they didn't introduce nearly as many heritages. A lot of it's
just one, just the winter touched human.
Yeah.
But there was a bunch of ancestry feats that really jumped out at me that I liked.
Yeah.
So like the arcane tattoos. Of course, I think that's just because I'm really hankering for a tattoo right now. So all the tattoo ones, I was just like, yes.
So I know that we had some questions from Discord. One of which was, "What's your favorite ancestry?" Which I'm going to just say, "What's your favorite ancestry or every heritage of all the ancestries that we go through?" Like what ones went up to you?
But those are so limited. Maybe go with ancestry feat.
Yeah.
We can do ancestry feats too.
I think there's more choices there.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I thought the Tusk feat was really cool for the half-orcs. Here's a bite attack.
Yeah.
I enjoyed with the half-orcs too that there was more stuff challenging the common stereotypes of these are just the big dumb fighters. I liked that, especially some of them, especially when you get into the Shawanti and the Ulfin, they accept them much more. But I wanted to see more feats that built on that. They had the sociable ancestry for the half-elves, and I was like, that would be so much, I think, better, in my opinion, but just my opinion, if they gave a sociable ancestry for the half-orcs. I was like, because it's basically Ailsa. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents.
I don't know. I liked when I was taking my notes on this, I wrote down heritage or an ancestry from almost every single, or feat from almost every single section that were really interesting.
Devil's advocate down for you.
I would never do that. What are you talking about?
No, never.
And of course, the thing, of course, the stuff that was like Osiriani kind of jumped out at me. Like I like that the art for the Pommet dwarf and the dwarf section is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
We'll get there. That's next. Unless you just want to jump in there now.
No, actually, I had one I actually want to read because it's the raddest
go for it
feat in this that I thought it was super cool. So this is Tupelo Carver. It's a human uncommon ancestry feat if you're Urataki. It says, "You know the truth behind old stories that tell of sending a fetish of bone and sinew to seek vengeance. These old magics allow you to conjure constructs with ease. Add the summon construct spell to your spell list. The constructs you summon have a distinct ivory scrimshaw appearance," which I thought was just super cool. And if you include a drop of blood, a lock of hair, or other portion of a creature's body as part of the spell's material component, the summoned construct gains a +4 status bonus to perception checks to sense or locate that creature. I more just like the idea of like it's a little scrimshaw kind of fetish that you've kind of carved, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's neat. That is really neat, actually.
Yeah, I thought that one was really cool for humans. And it's a first level feat, which is also really cool.
But
hopefully
I
everybody
guess,
can hear
moving on to the
everybody fine because I
dwarves.
did just adjust the audio levels for Heather and Rachel. So
I
I'm
boosted
always
mine up
quiet.
a little bit.
But I guess next is the dwarves. You know, and I didn't realize that there were so many different really types of dwarves in Golarion. I guess you just kind of think of dwarves, you know
the
what I
dwarves,
mean?
yeah,
it's
like
one
dwarves
entity.
are dwarves, dwarf.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, and
So-
I
But
think
that is
they
not
also,
true.
yeah, it's really interesting to see it kind of all brought together because the thing for me was like
Mhm.
they even differentiate underground dwarves who primarily live underground with surface dwarves who don't necessarily live underground all the time.
See,
So.
that was really cool. And of course, like I said, I was like, wow, there's a bunch of different types of dwarves. So, which is good. I mean, it's the other races should have the other ancestry should have as much versatility as humans do.
I agree.
So-
I like that it broke it down into like 3 main categories and then broke it down further, which it seems to be the kind of the theme throughout this book. I will say though, just on the subject of, your nuptials coming up recently, dude, we should have totally had you guys make sheaths for each other because that was the coolest marriage tradition that I read about, because it was
What?
saying that you forge a sheath for your partner's clan dagger, like using the gems from your clan. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. We should have had Jessica and Jordan make some clan daggers. This would have been cool.
Oh man, no,
Yeah.
I
That
would've
would
been
love
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
But I do like
And
the
then I
clan
read
dagger
about
thing.
the underground dwarf. Huh? Yeah. Oh yeah. That was
yeah.
a new thing for me. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's
But I read
interesting
about
that
the
they-
underground dwarf. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Now you're both trying to
No,
talk over each
I know, we're
other.
talking
Somebody
over each
say a
other.
thing.
So the thing that's interesting about it is the clan dagger has feats now, so you can take feats to make your clan
that's
dagger
so cool.
awesome. Like
I'm
it's
so
super
excited.
flavorful. It's so like it's very like now uniquely dwarven to have the clan dagger and use it in combat. That I thought was super cool, like from a flavor perspective.
And then they did talk more about the Pommet dwarves, which I thought was really cool because that kind of relates to some of the things that's been going on in Mummy's Mask. But then you get this freaking Tomb Watcher's glare feat at 5th level.
I wrote that one down too.
Yep.
Where you
I put
critically
ultimate side eye.
I know when you critical hit a freaking undead, or when it fails against a saving throw against you, the undead is enfeebled. How often do you get to enfeeble an undead creature?
I
I'm like,
do love
never.
that. Like honestly, if we
then-
could take Mummy's Mask into 2nd edition, that might be my backup character is a Pommet dwarf with that. That's super cool.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love, like I've said before, I love the Pommet Tomb Guardian art. That's actually right next to that feat, which makes
I was
sense.
gonna say, I think that means it's time for me to do a show of how awesome this art is for those of us watching on Twitch. Take a look at that.
Look, it's so
Okay.
cool.
But that is not the most epic one. Did you guys see on page 19 the Terralu? That beard is
Oh yeah, the
something
color
to behold.
changing beard.
Oh,
yeah.
the color
Holy
changing
crap.
beard.
I was
Yeah.
like, your beard is a nebula and it's beautiful.
Yes. Super rad.
But no, I really liked the underground dwarves. And I also thought it was a really cool concept that you could play with because they tend to be kind of xenophobic and it's like you do not go to the surface unless you have like express permission. So like
Mhm.
having that would be really cool. And then it really made me think of that show that Jessica made me watch, Kipo.
Oh yeah, Kipo is
no
such
idea.
a cool show.
It made me think of Kipo. And because it made me think underground dwarf druid.
Yes.
That just made me happy.
Get you a little pet lizard.
Also, can I just say the heritage of the energy emanation? Could you imagine the first time that happens to you?
Oh yeah, it's like one of those
Like-
like when mutants discover their powers kind of moments. They're like, whoa.
Yeah. It's like energy bursts forth from your body. You deal 1d6 of damage from your chosen type to all adjacent creatures. Basic reflex, all that stuff. At third level and every 2 levels thereafter, this damage increases by 1d6.
You know that it happens like when they're like 3 or 4 and having their first temper tantrum, and their parents are like, "What the heck just happened?" You know? But yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. All right. Any more about the dwarves? Are we good?
I think we're good on the dwarves.
We're good. Favorite ancestry
to Heather's
feat.
favorite now. I think.
Yes, my favorite ancestry feat is definitely that Tomb Watcher's Glare.
Yeah, that was mine.
Crap.
I wrote that one down.
Oh gosh, I gotta remember which one was the one that I really liked. It's the Clan's Edge and the associated.
Oh, that was the other one I wrote down.
To that one. Yeah, Clan's Edge it's a 2-action thing, but you use your clan dagger to protect yourself more efficiently. So you make 2 dagger strikes against different targets. Multiple attack penalty applies normally. Then use an interact action to gain the +1 circumstance bonus to your AC from your clan dagger's parrying trait, and then that increases with another feat. Which I think is just awesome that you're kind of like stabbing at somebody to like give yourself an AC bonus. So I think that's just really cool.
Yeah, I really liked that one too.
Yes.
All right. So elves. Okay.
Elves.
Am I the only one that really gets a Stargate vibe from elves?
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't watch much Stargate besides the movie. But
yeah. I mean, I didn't really. I watched like the first 2 seasons of the show, and then unfortunately life. But the movie always kind of made me feel like that, because it's like, okay, you have these beings who came to Earth.
Through a Stargate, by the way, like the elves did go back and forth through kind of Stargate-looking things, so.
Yeah, and so it just always had a very Stargate feel.
Are technically aliens.
I know, that's why I felt like it was Stargate.
Yeah,
I did. Of course, I do like the breakdown of the different elves. They actually talk about the snow elves and give them a name in this book, which I don't think they actually had in first edition. They were just kind of information about them was just kind of sprinkled around through several sources. So it's really cool to actually have this is what they call themselves, and this is where they came from, and this is why they don't associate with other people that aren't elves. So I thought that was pretty cool.
The artwork really made me think of the elves from Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy 2, because they had a very pale look with the white hair, and I was like, that's kind of the vibe I get. So, but I also liked, and I didn't realize this, that the elves are apparently so connected to their surroundings that their appearance will shift. And so I thought that'd be some really cool like character stuff you could do on that, like depending on where they're from.
There's that, what is it called? Wandering Heart. It's the one I wrote down, where their appearance changes and their environment. They're like, and their associated heritage changes, and I'm like, that's weird. Yeah. But kind of cool. You know?
Yeah. It also helps explain, even given elves' long lives, why they have kind of differences in the different regions that they're from. So like the different, groups and everybody have slightly different appearances. It's because of that kind of trait that even if they were born, in Keonan, if they move out to the desert, they're going to start looking like a Vorindi? Vorioni? Yeah, is that no? Yep.
Yeah.
Vorioni.
The Vorondi are the desert ones, I think.
Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm. And then they did have a little sidebar about the Jinin, which is cool, which are the elves that went to Tian Sha when Earthfall happened instead of or Starfall. Earthfall.
Earthfall.
When Earthfall happened, and instead of going back to or instead of leaving or going down into the Darklands. So yay.
Yes.
I think
again,
the one
tease.
the one that really jumped out at me though, and this is definitely a concept that I'm gonna do in the future, like it was one of my favorites, was the Spire Sworn.
Oh dude, that sounds so cool.
The Mordant Spire elves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Playing an adventurer where your party like never sees your face, and then having them from this very xenophobic environment, and they have to like adapt to being out in the world. Like that's just, I'm like, that's cool, and you could do some really good characterization with that. Like, I don't know, I did, and just the artwork for it. First, when I saw it, I was like, "What the heck is that?" And then I was like, "Oh, once I read
vibes."
It.
Honestly, it looked a little Predator-esque.
But I love it.
Yeah, the Mordant Spire elves are cool.
Yeah, those are freaking cool. I liked that. All right, so favorite ancestry feats for this one.
Oh,
I
goodness.
really did like that Wandering Heart one. And then there's the Share Thoughts that you can use Mind Link, and if you take another feat eventually, and you can like cast Mind Reading, Sense Thoughts. I thought those were pretty cool.
Nifty.
But I think they only work on other elves. Yeah, Share
Yeah,
Thoughts
I
only
think it was
works
only
on
on
other
other
elves. Mm.
What about you, Jordan?
It's a hard one because honestly, all of them are actually really useful. I'm kind of an oldie when it comes to elves. I like a standard, wood elf kind of vibe. So I liked Forest Stealth, which is skill to quickly hiding behind bits of underbrush or foliage. You can take cover and then use that cover to hide. Which you have to be an
And
expert
then
in
jump
stealth
out
to
and
do.
stab someone.
Yeah, you have to be an expert in stealth, so it's not like super useful. But I just like the idea of it's like,
It's
look,
super
a
useful
bush.
if you're a rogue.
Yeah, if you're a rogue,
It's
it's
super
just
useful
like,
if you're
it's a
a
bush. I'm
rogue.
hiding.
There you go.
And rogues are probably, unless you've built your character that specific way, rogues are going to be the easiest one to get an expert and stealth in by level 5, so you can take that feat at the earliest convenience.
Yeah, and it's a 5th level feat. So, but I just like the idea that it's
Mhm.
like, oh, a conveniently placed bush. Goodbye. You kind of Homer Simpson your way into it.
Right. Back away.
Right.
Oh man.
Well, I'm probably sticking with my Spire Sworn here. I loved the Defiance unto Death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You loathe Algolthus, I think that is, and their mind magic, and you've
The
been trained to be
ableist.
willing to die rather than give in to mental manipulation. So basically, you're just so stubborn that you like refuse to move. And I read that and I was like,
Because
yeah, I'm
the
pretty
check
stubborn.
on
I
it
can-
is you make a check if you're like compelled or anything, you make a check and you just paralyze yourself
Yeah.
rather than move, which I love.
Yeah.
It's like you don't get rid of the condition
Like,
and shove it off. You're
no.
just like, I'm just gonna stand here until this wears off.
It makes me think of oh gosh, Jessica Jones, purple guy, David Tennant. Why am I not thinking?
Kilgrave?
Kilgrave,
yeah,
thank you.
Kilgrave.
Like he tries to get you to do something, and you just stand there, and you're like, nah,
No.
I'm
Not
not
doing it.
gonna.
not gonna do it. So that was mine.
Oh man, and that
And
takes us
then we move
into
on to the gnomes.
my personal favorite, the gnomes. Gnomes are funny and weird.
Okay, I'm gonna make a statement.
Uh-oh.
They have the best hair, hands down. Fight me.
No, I agree with
Gnomes
that.
are
Hands
so
down.
I've been playing D&D for so long that the Pathfinder take on gnomes is so different than what it used to be in like D&D that I still sometimes are like, what is up with gnomes? They are so weird. That's not a bad thing. It's just I always forget how weird they are in Golarion.
But I think that's why I love them.
Yeah,
Because I think I'm a little weird.
I
Like
was
if
gonna
if
say,
I knew how to do better things with my hair other than changing the color, like I would do it. Like it's purple right now, but this is the extent of my hair skills.
yeah. No, I think it's just the wanting to like constantly experience new things and want to get out there, and I think it's just like they're just a weird like it kind of encourages you to be a weird person, and I'm a weird person, so it's like I like my spirit character would be a gnome for sure.
Oh no. Yeah.
Not a bleachling, but like every other type of gnome, sure.
I mean,
Okay,
a
see,
bleachling would be interesting.
I like the gothy little bleachlings.
I was gonna say
I'm
just
like,
they're so
"Aw, you-"
sad. They make me sad every time I see pictures of them. I'm like, oh, you lost all your colors, and it's sad.
So do they ever establish if the bleaching can be reversed?
I actually
I don't think so.
don't know. I don't think
Like,
so though.
Because when I was reading it, I was like, because I wonder if something exciting enough happens if you could suddenly get your color back, but I didn't know if it worked like that, like a Rainbow Bright situation.
No, I don't think they've ever said there's like a ritual or anything to like get your color back. So that's why gnomes like pretty much always are off trying to do new things or trying new pursuits, trying new professions. Like they're trying to stave off the kind of the inevitable. But they could survive it, and then they just become a goth kid. So is what it is.
Fits Heather.
Yeah.
Heather'd be like, bleach me, please, immediately. I'm ready.
I will. As far as Ancestry Feats go though, I read Gnome Polyglot, and I was like, that's Heather. Because she is such like the language junkie. And I was like,
yes,
yep.
yes.
Yeah, I like my characters to know lots of languages. which is hard to do in 2E, and it makes me sad.
Yeah,
It is
you
a bit
can't
more-
just be a,
but in
a
real life,
monkey,
it's
language
difficult.
monkey.
I did my favorite feat for the gnomes is probably the eclectic obsession, where you your desire for stimulation has led you to pursue so many things that you reflect on the snippets you've learned to temporarily become trained in one lore skill of your choice. This
Yep.
proficiency lasts for 10 minutes or until you critically fail a check.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
my
yeah, I was
personal-
just like, that's amazing. Oh, I remember reading about this. You know?
this is definitely for that person that's like just book smart. They're not really like common sense smart, and it's like I could have sworn I did woodworking back in the day. This joint looks wrong. Goodness, but I loved Unexpected Shift because again I like weird things. The
mine.
flavor text of which is triggered by its reaction that you take damage from an attack spell or other effect. Your supernatural connection sometimes causes you to phase from reality when under threat, disappearing for split seconds before reappearing, often surprising you as much as your enemies. And I love the idea that you just
the little
like a little
you're
blink
the little
dog.
chick from Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh,
Glitch.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name.
Oh,
Started
no.
with
Something?
not Penelope. It was
Was it
something like that. I don't know if it was
It was
Penelope.
like
It
a
was
play
something
on
like
Vanellope.
that, though. Vanellope. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's something to do with.
I don't know.
with-
Chat, help us out.
I don't know. Vanellope.
So I think it
sounds-
was yeah,
possible.
something like
Vanellope
that.
or something like that.
Goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, you stole mine, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
I liked that one too.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
All right.
So I guess
Goblins.
that brings us on to goblins, which I had literally had no freaking idea that there were so many types of goblins.
Oh yeah.
And
It's
but
fun
they
to learn,
didn't
though.
but they didn't mention the Gindilos, which they wouldn't probably be playable, but you figure they'd at least be in the sidebar.
Yeah, they
Where-
didn't
Wouldn't a
teach
Grindylow
that
be a
either.
fae?
No, they're a type of aquatic goblin.
Yeah, there's aquatic goblins.
They're little
Oh.
goblins. They
That
look
they
like
have like webbed
Yeah.
hands
Oh,
and little
they look
flippers.
like Ursula from The Little Mermaid. They have
Little bit, yeah.
octopus like
the
instead
bottom
of
half's
Okay,
Half
all
all
I'm
like
thinking of
octopuses.
actual mythology then.
yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what they're, the aquatic goblins. And I was like, why are these not like at least mentioned in a little sidebar?
You know why
'Cause
they're
they
not
talk about the
mentioned?
monkey goblin and everything.
Let me be real honest with you. You can't set a fire underwater. They are not true goblins.
Oh my god,
Fight me,
whatever.
Paizo. No,
Make it dead. Make it dead.
y'all need to play Skull and Shackle and then we'll
Oh
talk.
yes.
Well, we started it.
Yeah, we tried.
And then life.
Yeah.
So I do like the sidebar about the lick toads because of the weeby
Yeah.
goblin stuff. I was like,
Yes.
yeah.
I always played Poog, and I had
Mm.
my Squillinord,
I like to read a big bad.
who we decided had a very posh British accent whenever we
Yeah.
read Paizo.
Yeah, but like I said, I had no idea there were so many types of goblins. That
Yeah.
was kind of cool.
Yeah, the monkey goblins were really
it was-
interesting to me.
I liked the idea of them being guides for the Pathfinders. Like that's what I read that I can't remember exactly which section it was. I'll have to look it up. But that's kind of how they started building a better reputation, is that they started working with the Pathfinders and being their little guides. Gosh, where was it? I even did all my research and now I can't find
Goodness.
I think they talk about that in one of the
it. It was in one of the side blurbs, but it was
yeah. Oh, and I
Uh,
think they mentioned goblins working with a couple of the organizations too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
And they mentioned like the
just
monkey
the idea of
goblins
like
are
this little
used in
little
ships.
guy in the front.
Yeah.
But my favorite feats for the goblins are the where did it go? The Fang Sharpener, and then it turns into the Ankle Biter, which is freaking hilarious, by the way.
Yes.
The Fang Sharpener just gives you like a bite attack, which is cool. But then the Ankle Biter is when you're grappled, you can make a strike, and if it's a critical hit, you're not grabbed anymore.
You mean
Yep.
you didn't go for the bouncy goblin?
Dude, I love Bouncy. That is such a
That's
funny. That's such a
I
fun
liked.
one. I actually
I
went-
read that and I was like, no. That's
I was like, okay, they brought Bouncy back. That's my favorite. And then I kept reading, and I got to Roll With It, which is a 9th level feat. As a reaction, you have to have Unbreakable Goblin Heritage and have Bouncy Goblin. But a reaction when they hit you with a melee weapon or unarmed attack, when you take a big hit, your foe bounces you around like a rubber ball, but you escape the worst of the blow. Your foe can move you any direction of its choice up to 30 feet in a direction of its choice. This is not forced movement, and it triggers reactions as normal. You fall prone and are stunned 1. Attempt a DC 6 flat check. On a success, you take minimum damage from the attack, and on a critical success, if the attack was a critical hit, you don't take the double damage from the critical hit. As you
That
literally
is
just
so
let,
freaking
you just let
weird.
them bat you around the room. And I was like, oh, that's so good. It's so good.
Oh gosh,
Love it.
goblins. Goblins.
Yes, I appreciate that every
Mhm.
single type of goblin, they mentioned their love of fire. And I was like, yes, yes,
Make it burn. Make it burn.
fire.
And
Apparently the
then
We're
monkey
all
goblin.
a little bit of pyros.
Yeah, I love the monkey goblins. They're like, yeah, they don't really have a big place. They have this one place where there's a big concentration, but it's like the 6th place because everything else is a scarred wreck because they keep wrecking the place by setting the entire city on fire, and then they have to relocate to a different part of Mediagalti Island.
Like you do.
Yeah, like you do.
But yeah, and then that brings us to the halflings, last but not least for the core ancestries.
Aw, halflings.
The unintentional kleptos.
Yep.
Like that was I will say this section had one of my favorite sidebars that I wanted in every other section.
You're gonna steal one of my favorite things about this, aren't you?
I want the slang
yes,
for
I
every
love that so
section.
much.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, some of these were just absolutely hilarious. I think I might actually start using them. I think it was like the 9 buttons one. Yeah, it's 9 buttons is something that is both good and bad. Many halflings consider groups of 9 to be unlucky, but buttons to be particularly lucky. So it's 9 buttons. It's good and bad. And just I freaking loved this, and I'm like, I need to know elven slang.
Yeah.
I need to know dwarven slang. I need this. Come on.
Yeah, that was like my favorite part of this halfling section. I was like, slang, where is it for everyone else?
I would buy a book of
like
just
the last one,
slang.
zombie work.
Zombie work, yes. I love the zombie work.
Ew.
I'm like, what Gebian halfling came and brought that back? Because that came from Geb.
Right.
Sure enough, zombie work. It's great. Yeah, I also liked the.
I do like with.
Oh, sorry.
ahead,
I
Jordan.
did like the Songo halflings. I thought those were really cool. Because it describes them as they're a little xenophobic or they're from the Mwangi, but like they like to paint their bodies with different like body paints and stuff, and then show it to each other, and they like to wear very bright clothing and everything. And I was like, oh, that just sounds like a great time. Like I'd be down to just like go on a camping trip with them and just do face painting and just like hang out. Sounded really cool.
Yeah, the art for them was really good too.
And yeah, the
art in this
really
book
cool.
was just fantastic.
Oh, no, yeah. Again, we say this every time. Paizo does amazing art.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they scaled it back, to be honest. Like a lot of the outfits, it wasn't, and I know this is going to be a little bit blasphemous, but Wayne Reynolds tends to draw a lot.
Do not
And
blaspheme.
I am not blaspheming.
Wayne
I
Reynolds.
love Wayne Reynolds. Like that's kind of my style. But I did notice that like they did scale back some of the designs. Like they weren't quite. You didn't have all the gadgets and stuff because I feel like not all of these people are adventurers.
Mhm.
They are representing their ancestry, so
That's
they
a good
don't
point.
need all of the stuff. Now, for me, when I do my characters, I'm like, yeah, lay it on Wayne Reynolds this up because I freaking love Wayne Reynolds. So not blaspheming against the great Wayne Reynolds, but I did kind of like the more scaled back look because they're not all adventurers. Some of these people just exist.
Mm-hmm.
So what was everybody's favorite feats for our halfling friends?
I went
Oh,
for
goodness.
easily dismissed because I thought that'd be really cool to do for a vigilante.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of good ones that would be good for rogues and vigilantes and the like. I liked Shared Luck.
I liked the adroit. Shared Luck. I don't remember that one. Which one?
Yeah, that one was cool.
Shared Luck is you have to have halfling luck for it. But you are evidence that it's lucky to travel with a halfling. You can use halfling luck when an ally within 30 feet fails a skill check or a saving throw to allow the ally to reroll the triggering check instead of you rerolling your own failed check. As usual, your ally must use the new result, even if it's worse than the first roll. If you have Guiding Luck, you can't use Guiding Luck's effect that applies to attack rolls and perception checks to use Shared Luck to benefit an ally. But I like the idea that you can just be like, get lucky, buddy.
See, I have a similar thing in real life where if you're going to the store with me, I will always get a good parking spot. I cancel out Jessica's bad luck. So we always get the spot up front. So I've got my own halfling luck.
Jess has got a special kind of luck.
Maybe that's changed now that she's Jenkins.
Let me tell you, so far it hasn't. So far it has not.
It's not official yet.
Yeah, she hasn't changed her name yet.
I liked the adroit manipulation where if you succeed on a thievery check to pick a lock, it's a critical success instead. Yeah. So you're just like, nope, I'm getting through here real quick. Yeah. So I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
But
I like that one a lot.
I guess that brings us on to chapter 2, the new ancestries for this book. I am going to kind of make a comment here that this was the first book that came out with new ancestries. I know now we have the ancestry guide, but when this book came out, I was dubious about why these were the 3 that they picked. I'm like hobgoblins, leshies, and lizard folk. I feel like maybe like the Azamars or Tieflings or should have been in here, and definitely orcs. So that because half elves have all these options because they're they can choose from elves or humans, and the orc, I feel like half orcs have not had as much luck with just because. The orc hasn't been statted out as an ancestry yet. I don't think it's not in advanced the ancestry guide, is it?
Don't think so.
I have to check. I don't remember off the top of my head.
So yeah, I feel like maybe orcs should have been in here instead of maybe hobgoblins. I know a lot of people like leshies, so I get that, but I just felt like this was a weird 3 choices.
Well, hobgoblin makes sense because there's the new hobgoblin nation, so like that one I can get.
Yeah.
That actually made a lot of sense.
I liked that they were described as less of a threat than Tarbafon, but still a threat.
Yeah. And I did reading these sections. They did, I did enjoy how all these societies have been really fleshed out to make them. It's less of the I'm going to play a monster than it's just this is another ancestry you can play, which is a good thing. You know what I mean? But I still think right out of the gate, orcs probably should have been included in this book instead of one of the others. But
yeah, I kind of concur on that one.
Yeah, the lizard folk is a little weird. Like it even mentions the fact that they're like there's not a lot of them. They're a little bit here, but they're kind of outside of society. Like it just seemed it to me. I probably would have done orcs. Like I get it.
Yeah, like I said, now that we have the advanced the advanced ancestry guide and the other stuff, we have a few more. But yeah, I thought this was a weird choice for their first 3 to relate to when this book came out. So, but anyway, so hobgoblins, they do have their new nation.
Yes, orcs are in the APG, by the way. So, whoops.
Okay.
Oh, okay, good. Cool.
Wind back everything we just said. This is fine.
Whatever. But anyway, so, what was I talking about? Hobgoblins.
Yes, hobgoblins.
I didn't realize that they had such apparently a militaristic society, which is kind of cool.
That's because of Iron Fang invasion. So we never played that, but a lot of the hobgoblins that are left in Oprok. They are from the Iron Fang Legion, and so that's why, like, if you look at all the feats list, it's very militaristic combat focused, and that's because of, I think, more the society than it is, all hobgoblins are like this kind of. But I don't know, I never played Iron Fang Invasion, so who knows?
Yeah. But it did give them, like I said, the fleshing out of their society and their culture, and it was pretty interesting. It was a lot of information that I didn't know. So
again, also not having played Iron Fang Invasion, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet.
Yeah.
There's
One day.
hope.
One day.
We'll play it before we're 80, right?
There's so many. Depends on what new ones they come up with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I liked hobgoblins just because it's one of those races or ancestries that shows the progression of time, because they've gone from like they're a quote unquote monster race in first edition to they are now, maybe not respectable, but they are, they have a society, they have a culture that's unified instead of just being there's a random hobgoblin here and you don't know why, but they're telling goblins what to do,
Yeah, they're developing.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of their feats are centered around fighting and things like that. There are a couple cool ones, but several of them require you to have other hobgoblins around, so I feel like that would require some coordination with your party.
Yeah.
Let's all play hobgoblins, or at least a couple of us play hobgoblins to make these work.
I will say the Leech Clipper jumped out at me. Just the name alone, but just you are trained to capture deserters or quote unquote leeches. If you critically hit a foe with a weapon from the flail weapon group, you can wrap the weapon around the target's legs and then drop it, causing the foe to take a negative 10-foot circumstance penalty to their speeds. So basically, you're like lassoing people with a flail.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I liked the vigorous health one where it's basically like, no, I'm going to make this check. And if I succeed, I'm not drained. So, which is handy. Yeah.
It's amazing how much stubbornness really plays a part in some of these feats.
Yeah. Goodness. Yeah, I also liked Leech Clipper because there's just something about that name. Like, I don't know. It's just a name. It's really more than anything. Just sounds cool.
Anyone who knows me knows that I don't always agree with the naming conventions, but that one got me.
Yeah, it's fun. It was good. Also,
All right,
there's a
so
really cool picture of a Cowling Hobgoblin. Just has a really cool set of armor,
On page
and I love the
51,
axe with a face in it. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Super
It's
cool.
really neat.
But I guess next up we have Leshies.
I love Leshies.
They are plant time lords, is what I have decided.
Kind of, yeah.
I am going to point out that the art for the fungus and the gourd Leshies are absolutely freaking terrifying.
Okay, the gourd one was okay, but I was
fungus one
like
has
looking.
teeth.
Like I was looking at the heritage ones and reading it, and I was like, "Oh, the fungus Leshy sounds really cool." And then I scrolled down, and I was like, "Ah!"
Yeah, the gourd Leshy, its face makes me look like those things from like Princess Mononoke, and like its head's gonna twitch at me.
Those are cute.
No, it's awful. I hate it.
Oh, they're cute little guys, though.
I like those little guys.
The fungus Leshy artwork is absolutely like terrifying.
Yeah.
Like these are the Leshies that live in Nidal. Like that's like where those Leshies live.
Oh, sure, yeah, I
exactly where they live.
you know, but yeah, I did the same thing Rach did. I turned the page and I was like, "Whoa, what is this monstrosity?" I was just looking at a cute little leafy thing. You know? But
yeah, I loved their naming conventions.
Yes,
because it said the names often represent a facet of their personalities or values. Though another common naming convention is to use a description of the natural feature they admire. So, like some of them is Scarlet in Summer, or Noon Sky Evening Song. Like these are just adorable.
Yes.
And I thought it was really interesting that they talked about like Leshies. You can play Leshies, but like druids can also have Leshy familiars.
And what's the difference?
And how Leshies are also really protective of Leshy familiars, and they don't like it when the familiar Leshies are picked on or treated or mistreated by their masters.
Yeah, they're incredibly loyal.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, one of the more interesting details for me is the fact that Leshy's spirits, as the spirit that inhabits the Leshy body, is functionally immortal. I mean, they're spirits, right?
Yeah. That's why I said they're Time Lords.
Yeah, but what's interesting about it is they mention the fact that they don't want to be in their bodies all the time. That every time that they go into a new body and they leave, that it's a chance of growth, a chance of trying something new. And I thought that was really interesting in a way to kind of justify why, like, I almost feel like a Leshy would be rather selfless in being like, being that person that says, I'll make the ultimate sacrifice for the group because,
I am Groot.
It's just, well, one, I am Groot, but it's also just like, wow, I just totally got derailed by that because I didn't realize that was where that was going. But it's the fact of just like, I'm just a spirit. Like, I mean, this could be the end of this life. It's fine. It's a new experience. I've never died before,
back.
maybe.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's fine. No big deal.
Can we talk about how amazing the seed pod feat is where you literally like can spit seeds at people? I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do that.
It technically says it's an unarmed attack, so you're throwing those seeds.
Whatever.
But I like to imagine that you're basically the oh gosh, the Deku in Ocarina of Time. They're just
exactly.
Like, oh gosh.
Are we not going to talk about harmlessly cute?
Oh yes.
I read that one and I was like, yes. Like I would totally take advantage of that every chance I got.
Yes.
And then I also love the solar rejuvenation where basically you just go photosynthesize for a little bit and heal up.
Gotta sunbathe for a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, give me 10 minutes in the sun. I'll be with you in a minute.
But yeah, the leshies are cute. Though
Pretty
the
looks.
fungus leshy freaks
It's
me out.
terrifying.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I really liked it because I was like, man, this sounds really cool. But the cool thing is that even though that's the art for it, I mean, there are tons of other kind of fungus that you could go
Yeah.
for. So I'm like, you could turn that into something a little bit more traditionally
You could be a
harmlessly cute.
toadstool, honestly. Like
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
could just be like a Toad from Mario.
But yeah, that's that artwork. It's terrifying and amazing. And
Yeah, it's really good, but it definitely shocked me. So success.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goodness. All right, moving on to lizard folk.
Also made me think of Doctor Who.
Really,
they-
it made me think of dinosaurs more than anything when I looked at the
Well,
first piece of art.
It made me think of when the lizard folk like rise up and like they've been hibernating in
Oh,
the earth for so
okay.
long, and then they came back up and they
Yeah.
tried to destroy all humans because we
Like
suck.
you do.
Like you do.
like every Doctor Who villain really kind of does at some point.
Pretty
or another.
much. And so then they had to like negotiate, and whatnot. It was pretty good. But that's kind of what it made me think of, like the initial reading of it. And then I saw the artwork and I was like, okay, less Doctor Who, but still pretty cool.
I think it's pretty cool that they're super into astrology. That's a neat thing.
Again,
like
it's
that.
one of those like it's 10 years now since a lot of the source books kind of came out, and you get to see
And
the living world and how lizard folk culture has kind of evolved in an academic sense, because it's being reported to us that they have a deeper culture than just they're the monsters that you fight.
and I
occasionally.
honestly cannot remember fighting lizard folk in any of the 1E stuff that I played. I honestly don't remember.
I remember like
I'm-
fighting kobolds, but that was about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's probably something that we're just not thinking of, but no,
Yeah, because I was
can't think
thinking
of
about
it.
that when I was reading over this. I was like, I don't actually know much of anything about lizard folk because I don't remember encountering them that much. It is cool. Like I think they're very interesting. I don't know how easy it would be to work them into an AP, especially if it was like city based. But yeah, I think they're
Yeah.
actually pretty cool. I really like the Leshy, but the lizard folk might actually be my favorite out of these three, which is weird because I'm also feel like it was the one that should have been replaced by orcs. But whatever.
I mean, they got around to it eventually.
Yeah.
I
really
did
like
like that unseen heritage or the.
I was gonna say lizard folk got a lot of heritages in this book.
Yeah.
I think
Like
they
a
got the
lot.
most.
Yeah, they did get the most.
Yeah. Where like the unseen one is where you can like blend into your surroundings and like basically like be all chameleon-y and get circumstance bonuses to your stealth checks and everything. And I do like that there's a feat where you can like lose your tail.
Oh, you stole mine.
Kinda
That
like a
was gonna be
salamander.
my favorite feat.
I was
Yeah, I
like,
just-
nope.
I imagine Jessica wanting to play the frilled lizard folk.
Yes, that's what I thought of her
Jurassic
immediately
Park.
because it literally is you pop a frill like you're that spitting thing in Jurassic Park, which I don't remember the technical
I used to
name
know
for
it, but it's
I
been
did
a
too,
long
yeah.
time.
But you have this like dancing frill as you come up and you intimidate people. That I'm just like, yeah, that seems a very
then-
Jess thing.
And then reptile speaker is cool, so you can talk to any type of reptile. It's like, hey, what's up? You see any weird people walk past here lately?
Yeah,
So,
I like that it's
and-
also GMs get to determine what is a lizard, so you can
Mhm.
technically
Yeah.
be like, I mean, you speak with the dragon as a lizard to a lizard, kind of, if your GM's the
I'm not
the
sure
kite.
that really.
And then,
fits.
like I said, I had a lot of the lizard folk feet that I really liked, and the gecko's
Yeah.
grip is another one where it's like, I'm just gonna climb on this wall.
Yeah.
See, and
You can-
I went for the parthenogenic hatchling.
That was cool. That was really
Like,
interesting.
that was just neat because it made me think Jurassic Park too. Because it says you were hatched from an unfertilized egg during hard times for your people, and you are a biological copy of your mother.
Yeah, that I
It's just
remember
kinda
reading
cool.
that one and being like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked the lizard folk, and the leshies are cool too. I kind of want to play a terrifying fungus leshy.
I was gonna say you seem more
That
the
suits you.
terrifying fungus than the cute little gourd leshy with putting one bulk of thing in its head.
I'd play a gourd leshy just to screw with you.
Creepy mask. So I guess that moves on to they do mention a bunch of other ancestries.
Yeah,
that
which
they
is
tease.
cheating. It's
Yeah.
like, hey,
Such a
these are things
tease.
that exist, but you can't play any of these yet. A lot of
Yeah.
these are in the
APG,
the
right?
Ancestry guide. Yeah, but I'm just like,
I'm still waiting
Really?
on my Geniekin.
why do you gotta tease this and then not let us play?
They
I will
include
say, though,
art. They
the
include
Yeah.
art of it to just
Yeah.
tease.
because I saw the changeling artwork and I was like, what is Professor Trelawney doing here?
Yeah, you're right. She does look like Trelawney. Oh man.
But
But,
that the last big chapter in this book is about organizations, which I
Yep.
thought was kind of cool.
I liked
Um,
reading about this
The
section.
artwork on page 64, just I laugh so hard. I love it so much.
Is that
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the firebrands? Oh yeah, the
No,
firebrands.
the
one.
Swinging out the window.
the guy kidnapping or rescuing another guy from his wedding, and it's the bride that's angry in the window. Just the play on that traditional piece. I was like, yes.
I like
That's
the
pretty
fact
great.
that the groom looks very happy
Very
to be out
happy.
of
He's
there.
like,
It's
yes!
he's like, yes, so cool.
I love it so much. It's amazing. I laughed so hard when I saw that.
Oh man,
Pretty
yeah.
good one.
But I guess we'll do just a overview of these. There are other organizations listed at the opening of this
I
chapter.
appreciate that they front load that with we're not talking about all of these cool ones.
Yeah.
Those have already been.
And several of these were already mentioned in the World Guide and some other places, so they're not like we just threw these on here and then didn't give you anything. These are just here's some other organizations. So.
Well, because they give you feats for those organizations and
Yeah.
like dedications and some other stuff. But it's just basically like, yeah, we're gonna give you some stuff for this, but we're not gonna talk about the organization itself really. So
Yeah.
And so they start off with the firebrands, which are new to second edition, and I actually think they're pretty interesting. They're probably the group that would be the easiest besides the Pathfinders to be a part of.
Yeah.
Yes and
And
no.
adventure.
See, the problem is that your status in the firebrands is based on your reputation and
Mhm.
stories that are told about you. So you have to be able to kind of sell yourself, I feel like, to be a part of the firebrands.
Bards.
So yeah, you got to have a
Bards.
good bard. You need your oh gosh, who's the one? Jaskar.
Yeah.
Walking behind you, singing your songs of all the
Yaskier?
things. Yes,
Dandelion?
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know. I don't remember how to say things. Words are
Toss
hard.
a coin to your witcher.
I was trying to be.
Sorry, that's my
known about-
ringtone.
I'm trying to know about my Witcher lore, and I'm not up on it, man.
But yeah, I thought, reading about them was interesting. And like I said, I think they're the only one in here that's brand new to second edition. I think all the other
think
ones
so.
we at least had some idea about them. Well, the Knights of Lastwall
Yeah,
are
technically
kind of
Knights of
new,
Lastwall.
but they're yeah.
Kinda.
That's also very spoilery for Tyrant's Grasp. I skimmed over that chapter real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did too. I didn't really want to get into it because I was like, just in
literally
case.
didn't read it. I was like, I can't read
So
this
let's move on to Hell Knights.
Yeah. I love me some Hell Knights.
These are the Judge Dreads of the world.
I do like that there were I liked the breakdown of the orders and the ranking because I don't know if that's ever really been clearly stated, and I like the little blurb for every single one of the orders, though I wish all the orders, the major orders, had gotten a dedication or a feat or something in here. Like most of them are just they did it for several of them, but not all of the major ones, which is why the Hell Knights need their whole entire book. Okay,
I
Can
second
we-
them
maybe
needing a
maybe
whole
they're
book.
working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, Paizo, hit us up. Let us know.
The Order of the Pyre is one of my favorites, and they don't have any feats in here, which made me sad. But
Are they the ones that hunt out heresy?
Yeah, that hunt down the cults and everything like that.
Okay, because I liked the Order of the Chain because I liked the idea of a Hell Knight going after the worst of the worst and bringing them to justice.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like the one Hell Knight order you can kind of get behind. You're like,
The God
okay.
Claws the God Claws are pretty cool too.
They're interesting. I mean,
But-
I like the Order of the Gate just because I love magic. So
Yeah,
the armor was so
one-
cool in this book.
And
for
I
them.
do like the specific feats for the signifiers. You're the spellcasting Hell Knight, so here's some awesome Hell Knight specific spellcasty feats.
Yeah, and the Order of the Gate artwork was my favorite.
Yes. The one thing I don't like about the Hell Knights is if you're a magic user, except in the Order of the Gate, you are below regular Hell Knights. And I'm just like, really though? Like, why can't you all be equal?
I like the Order of the Pyre Hell Knight art. It's fancy.
They're all
But
fancy.
yeah, I know. I just want to walk around in my badass evil black plate mail all the time.
And Heather gets the first swear. Good job. We were doing so well.
It wasn't too bad of a swear anyway. But yes, Hell Knights are cool and they need their own book. That's what I'm saying here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I do like that there are dedications or feats for gaining rank as your character levels up as well.
Yeah,
Like,
that was neat.
Yeah. So that was really interesting. Because they do go through, like, basically there's a lesser and a greater boon feat, for lack of a better term, that you get for each of the orders, which was really nifty.
Yep. But so then they go on to the Knights of Lastwall, which I don't think we're going to talk about too much because none of us really read this chapter very thoroughly because spoilers for Tyrant's Grasp, which we are playing. I will
Something
say
happens. There's now Knights of Lastwall as a major faction.
Yeah. I will say that I did like in the sidebar that they actually have the oath for one of the new subdivisions. I thought that was cool.
That was very neat.
And
I skimmed a little and I just remember reading a section where apparently the Abadarians were trying to profit off of the devastation, and I was like,
this is why I hate Abadar. Everybody's always like, you know, Abadar's not that bad. And then like over half of the examples are like, this is why the lawful evil ones are doing.
It's like, y'all were doing so good. Like, y'all were doing good stuff and helping out. Then you had to go pull that crap.
Yeah. Abadar is
granted,
awful.
It was just a little blurb I read, so I don't know if it was out of context. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for the moment because I didn't want to read that chapter in depth. So I could be wrong.
There's such much pretty artwork, and it makes my heart happy that even after the end of Tyrant's Grasp, at least some remnants of the Knight of Ozum are out there fighting the Tyrant. So
yeah.
So sorry to kind of skim over that one, guys, but spoilers for something that we're playing.
We do try not to spoil the adventure paths we're playing for ourselves.
I am going to say, though, my favorite art for this one was the Knight Reclaimant.
Oh, yeah, that's some good artwork.
Yeah, top notch.
That was amazing.
And that brings us on to Magambia and Old Mage Jatimbe and
my
the 10
personal
Magic
favorite
Warriors.
Organization in this book.
Yeah.
Rad.
It was really interesting to read about it and the branches and all of that kind of really cool stuff about the school because, again, I don't think they've elaborated very much on that in 1E. I think this is kind of really one of the first big looks we've gotten at it. So
I mean, it gets me pumped even if I'm already like stoked beyond all belief, but even more pumped for Strength of Thousands because it talks about like, you know, what it like the different kind of traditions of magic and what you can do with that and how you can make your own mask and what the mask signifies. And I just thought it was so culturally different to get to, you know, go through and make your own mask. And some people don't do the mask because it's a very personal reflection of yourself. And I thought that was just really, really cool.
And the mask familiar feats in here are freaking awesome.
I was
like, I'm like, that is so cool.
I want my mask to just turn into a little kitty and like follow me around or whatever, or a little bird, you know, and it just you can give it the familiar feat so it can talk too. So you can just be like, oh yeah, my mask occasionally it just flies around and it you know is a little bird and it says hello, you know.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like it a lot. I like there's this really cool catfolk character artwork on page 102 from that, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah. But all the art in this one was very like mystical, magical because it really fits.
Yeah, and you know because they focus on learning all about the magic and everything. It was really cool. I really do like all the artwork in here and all the different directions and everything you could go with the school. It's not just like Hogwarts. It's like there's all sorts of different studies and branches. There's even like a spy branch and everything going on. So yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. So.
I think I loved the first section where it talks about within the Magambia because it says the Magambia accepts anyone who can prove their good intention and has earned the trust of a Magambian. While not overly hierarchical, the Magambia divides membership into ranks based on proven knowledge and aptitude. And I just liked the idea that, hey, you're willing to learn something, you do it well, and you can prove yourself. All right, come on in, you know, and I really, really liked that you don't have to be good at this one thing. You just have to have good intentions and do something.
Yeah. And I like that their anathemas are selfishness and disrespect and unwarranted violence. And it's like, we're all about learning about magic, but it's not about gaining power for yourself. It's about teaching and learning and discovering new things, which is really cool.
Being a former teacher myself, and I'm still in education in a way, I think that that's more of what we need in schools today, and like really getting into, it's not about testing. It's about so much more. And I'm just going to leave it at that before I go on my soapbox.
Though I will
Goodness.
say the artwork on page 99 where that awful spider is obviously trying to poison that man. No.
It's so
no.
cute.
No.
That is the cutest spider I've ever
It is a
seen.
cute
Maybe not cuter than Lucas,
car-sized
but
spider.
Nope.
look at him.
Nope.
He's offering him the little treat.
Nope.
It's so
Nope.
cute.
Nope.
Okay, I
Nope.
gotta tell y'all something. This is gonna make it even cuter. So Jess made a Magambian wizard and took a familiar, and she took a spider familiar.
Nope.
And apparently, I don't remember what language it is, but she named it Bwee, BWE, Bwee. And ever since that she told me that, every spider I see, I'm like, it's a little Bwee.
Oh my god.
It's so
No,
cute.
it's
so cute.
awful. It's awful. I
But
hate
see,
that.
you're focusing on the spider and you're not noticing the is it a knoll in
There's
the
a
background?
knoll in the background that's like having a
Fighting.
discussion.
They're fighting over a book. They're
Yeah.
playing tug of war with a book.
It's
Yeah.
excellent.
No, I was distracted by the awful spider that's
But he's
about to
so
stab
cute.
that guy with his arm while offering him
Okay,
poison.
Jordan, put up a picture of this absolutely
all right,
cute
all right.
spider, and I need the chat to be like, no, Rachel is right, and this is
Okay,
adorable.
here we go. People who are watching us on Twitch.
It's awful. I
It is
don't
amazing.
care.
Bring it up a little. Up.
Bring it up a little.
Up.
There we
There-
go.
it's
Look
still
at him. He's
terrible.
like a little chair.
It's still
He's
terrible.
So fuzzy.
It's so cute.
It's
I love the
terrible.
coloration on his back too. Like it's
Yeah.
super inviting and just friendly.
Look at him. He's even like got a little leg up on him. Like,
Yeah,
hey, how you
to
doing,
murder.
guys?
How you doing, buddy?
To murder.
He's bringing him snacks. It's so
You
cute.
can be petting him.
Okay, we have focused long enough on the absolutely cute spider. Magambia, you guys have got it going on.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah, it's
The
my
last
favorite organization.
one they talk about is the Pathfinder Society. I am on the fence about them doing pages and pages on the Society in here when the Society now has its own book, which I'm sure they knew was coming out when they were planning this book.
It would have
So I
felt weird not to have it. let me
I
put it
know,
that
I
way.
understand
It
the
would've been real
Pathfinders,
weird.
but I'm just like, but these like last 10 or 15 pages, however it is, could have been dedicated to something they haven't fleshed out yet. So I understand why they're here, but I'm also like, but they have their whole entire book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
So-
because again, the Pathfinder Society, their society play and all that. So I think that's the big reason
Yeah.
why. I think sometimes it's unfortunate that Pathfinder Society does get kind of a bad rap, especially like in the world of Golarion, because I do feel like it's definitely like the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Oh, definitely.
You know, it's
Definitely,
like-
yeah.
They're intending to do good things, and then they just tend to tick off the wrong people. Because
Yeah,
I
I
know I've
mean-
played some modules that have been absolutely wonderful, and I've felt like even as a Pathfinder, I was like, I'm doing good stuff, but then you read about other stories, and it's like, oh, y'all really did a bad.
Yeah. I don't agree with their let's hoard all the magic things in one places because I feel like
Yeah.
that's eventually going to come and bite them in the butt if it
Didn't they
hasn't
learn anything?
already.
From the frickin' Warrens,
Yeah.
you don't do that because then Annabelle will break out.
But I mean, their accepted alignment is neutral. You can be any alignment and
Mhm.
be in the Pathfinder Society.
Well, I don't think you
So-
can be evil.
You can be evil as long as you're not playing Pathfinder Society standard table play.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so because you can't be evil in that in the organized play, but you can be an evil member of the Pathfinder Society, like in an adventure path or something like that. So
I do have to point out my favorite archetype, though, because I felt like it was perfect for Jordan, is everyone duck. Is that what it is?
Yes.
And it
Yes.
says, you fail, but you don't critically fail and attempted to disable a device on a trap. You intentionally set off the trap, but you take a special precautions to protect yourself and your allies from the trap's effect. For the next 2 rounds, if the trap rolls a critical success on an attack roll, it gets a normal success instead. And if anyone rolls a critical failure on their saving throw against the trap, they get a normal failure instead.
oh my gosh.
Yes. That seems like the kind of thing my rogue would need to have.
Yes.
One of
Yeah.
my
His
favorite
name
things
was
in
great.
this section was actually an item. It was the Bi-Resonant Wayfinder, where it's like, let me just shove 2 Aeon stones in here.
All
On a
right.
boat.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody from Paizo is actually listening right now or on our chat or anything. But I'm going to tell you how disappointed I was. The first Paizo Con I went to, and it lands on my birthday every year, so I'm always really excited. And they said, "Here's your Wayfinder." And I thought it was a legit Wayfinder and not a freaking magazine. And I need a real Wayfinder.
Oh my gosh, Rachel.
Okay. I was real early into the Pathfinder game, okay? So I didn't know, but I was like so excited. I was like, dude, they're handing out Wayfinders. This is awesome. And I've never seen like really good art of a Wayfinder that like I like to kind of like send it off to somebody to like make one or something. Cause I'm like, I want a Wayfinder.
Okay, Paizo merch department.
I need a Wayfinder.
Think of the sales if you made a legitimate Wayfinder, like a legitimate compass you could get. I'd buy that.
Oh, well,
I'd also buy it for a reroll in Society.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Wear it to your organized play game and get a reroll or something. Yeah, that would be
little
really
stones
cool.
in to like change the colors or something. I don't know. That's probably
it'd be like a little LED in the center of it, and you could put the little stones in to make the colors
now
change.
we're getting real complicated with this.
But right, get on it, Paizo.
So Paizo, you've disappointed my heart, and I need a Wayfinder.
Wow.
Oh man. Okay, so that's it for all the organizations. There's actually a bit at the end where they have an NPC gallery where they stat out a couple of different types of NPCs, and they also give you some guides if you want to roll your own NPC.
Yeah,
and they also
I thought that was interesting.
Which
but
it's interesting because it's per organization. So like if they're part of the Bellflower Network, they need to take. We recommend they take this, this, and this if they are over a certain level. So I thought that was actually really interesting.
There's also some templates and things like that you can use to adjust like an existing creature so it matches up with one of the organizations. So it's a really good tool for game masters and maybe even for players to kind of get an idea of how, maybe to bring something together if you're kind of stumped. Yeah. But there's some really good artwork through here in the back section. So even if it's not something that you're really going to use when you have this book, I suggest flipping through it just to look at the pretty artwork. There's Aldari Sword Lord picture in here that's really cool. So
there's just some neat stuff in here.
Jordan, did we have any other questions from the Discord
or the chat?
Yeah.
What? Is that pretty much
Discord or the chat? Either one.
Mm-hmm.
Discord, I put it in the notes that I did not pull up because I'm not.
I have it because I was prepared.
I typed it in there. I just didn't pull it.
I know. No, I was just like super excited because like I actually took like legit notes this time, and I had them all like organized and pretty. Like I was really proud. I was proud. I went back to like my teacher skills. I was super proud. Okay, so our first one is Rose from PT podcast. And their first one is your favorite archetype, which I feel like we've kind of addressed as we went along.
My favorite archetype is probably the Winter Witch one. Just it made me so excited to see that one.
Oh gosh.
If I had to read one off the top of my head.
Archetype, are we talking like class archetype or are we talking like heritage?
I think it's the heritage archetype is what I would assume.
It just says favorite archetype, and then it says favorite ethnicity lore-wise for each ancestry.
Yeah.
Which I think we also kind of talked about as we
went through that,
yeah.
I was trying to answer that as we went, because I knew that was going to be one where he's going to flip back.
And then Ben, he, him, Eliza Tahalo? Hopefully I said that correctly.
Oh, that's one of his characters on Discord.
Oh, okay.
So,
I love that
Ben.
name. That's awesome.
Just Ben.
Ben. First one is favorite organization.
Magambia.
Hell Knights.
Well, okay then. Ooh, gosh. I'm probably gonna have to go with Magambia too.
Yeah, go with Team Magambia.
Hell Knights.
Of course, it's Hell Knights with you, Heather.
And his second question is, what do you think is the most creative archetype in the book that offers cool niche stuff?
Oh gosh, there's so much in here. I don't know which one I would say is my favorite. I'm sorry about Mikey serenading everyone. If you can hear him, it's his dinner time and he's very upset.
Gracious.
I don't know which one I would pick.
Picking favorites is always so hard.
It is so hard.
Oh my gosh.
I think I really liked, I don't know if I can pick a specific one, but I do have a love of halflings, and I liked a lot of the feats that you could do to do character stuff with that. So I'm going to go with the halfling feats. I think they had some good choices.
I'm gonna go with Goblin. I liked Goblin feats.
I mean, I'm actually going to go with the Hell Knight stuff just because you can get some really cool stuff from their dedications
Yeah.
and everything like that. So, and that's something that, you know, isn't necessarily limited to one of the ancestries because you don't have to be a human to be a Hell Knight.
No,
So-
actually, they specifically state that you can be like it lists like for each of the orders what other types of creatures are typically admitted. So I thought that was which I actually thought was really cool.
All right. Did we get any questions in the chat as they move along?
Let me scroll through the chat and see what we got.
Mikey. Yes, everyone says hello, Mikey. Just a few more minutes, and then you'll get your dinner.
Chat says that the little girl in Wreck-It Ralph is Vanellope.
Okay, so there we
Vanellope,
go.
There's that. Rick clarifies Grindylows they look like goblins, but they're actually aberrations.
I mean, whatever. They're
So-
goblins.
So it's because of the little
I don't
tentacle
know.
legs.
I just imagine, the Grindylows from Harry Potter.
Yes.
Fleur got attacked by them.
Let's see.
Seriously, bud, you're on my headphones.
We're all of us with Jordan are having cat issues right now. I mean,
Because
that's
I
what
got
we
a fat ginger
expected.
in my lap right now.
that's gotta
That's
be
out.
expected with Find the Path.
Anything else, George?
Anything else? Or are we?
Let's see.
I mean, we were pretty thorough.
Oh, I
so-
misspelled buibui apparently, which is Swahili for spider. Buibui is Buibui.
Ah. Pronounced
Buibui.
the same, though?
Yeah,
I'm
still
assuming?
pronounced buibui.
Okay.
Mhm.
Bui-bui.
But yeah, Swahili for spider.
Nice.
Yeah, no other questions in our Discord chat.
All right.
So-
Well,
Nothing
all right.
on the Twitch or anything either?
I didn't. I was kind of trying to keep an eye on that as we were going.
No,
and there
that was
some
the Twitch
comments.
chat.
Yeah.
I just went through.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed us rambling on about the stuff in this book. You can-
Yeah. Overall recommendation: if you're building a character in Second
yeah.
Edition, get this
Mhm.
book. Like,
Yeah,
Yes.
super great.
Get this book. And then you can read about the Knights of Last Wall if you want yourself.
Yeah, the firebrands
We
and the
didn't
Knights of
read
Last Wall,
every
that's all
page
you.
of this book. You know?
Yes. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. Like I said a couple times, I had some questions about the decision making, but I feel like that happens with every book that you're like, well,
Yeah.
this should have been in here. Why did they do this? But overall, I'd give this book like a 9 out of 10, I guess. Probably.
I'll give it a 9 out of 10 because they teased me too much with
Yeah.
all the other stuff, the other organizations,
Mhm.
the other ancestries. I was like,
That's
I'm gonna
rude.
ding him for that.
Yeah,
Rude.
I'm going to stick with probably 9 out of 10 too then.
Yep.
I don't like being teased. I'm like, you could have just left that out and just put
Yeah.
it in the next thing. Don't
Just
just
had character guide 2 that
just
just goes
hook
through
me
that.
in a little bit as if I'm
Yeah.
already not addicted to everything that you'll make. But okay,
Oh man, goodness.
give me my Wayfinder.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, I guess that's all there is for the Lost Omens character guide. I hope y'all
Yep.
enjoyed this, and you can always get in touch with us on Discord and
Twitter.
and
and-
somebody asked Rick asked what organization should have been in this book. Honestly, the Whispering Way, because they talk about them in like 3 of the
well,
other
they
organizations.
do mention them.
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I
Not
think
a little blurb.
Well,
but
I think as
Go through
statted
them.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if the Pathfinders weren't in there, I think they should have thrown the Whispering
To be
Way in
fair,
there.
that also would have been one we'd had to skip and not read.
yeah, we
because
have had to
spoilers.
skip that.
Well,
anyway.
But I think that would have been, especially with the events that are going on and what's left of Last Wall, I think seeing them statted out would probably be a good choice eventually
Yeah.
too. You know, in case you want to play a creepy necromancer,
You know, like you do.
you know, like you do.
I mean, could be
But
fun.
yep, like I said, you can find us on Discord or Twitter or Facebook or Reddit, and I'm probably forgetting something.
I think we have an Instagram. We maybe update sometimes. I don't know.
So yeah, if you have any more questions or any commentary or want to add to what we said, you can always find ways to get in contact with us.
Yep.
We're super reachable. All right. Well, we will leave it there, guys. Thank you
Bye,
for tuning
Pathfinder.
in live. If you are reading to this, if you're listening to this on our feed, we do Twitch streams where we talk about this stuff, and you can ask questions
Yay.
live every other Tuesday.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
huzzah.
Eventually, we will be caught up. But
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Indeed.
Eventually, we will stop going to and reviewing things that have been out for like a year.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck, Pathfolk. Everybody have a good night or day, depending on when you're listening to this.
Yep. Hedge your bets on your time.
Have a good time.
Goodbye, Pathfolk.
Bye, Pathfolk.